That's a lot, right? It's a
I
lot.
know, right? And I didn't expect that amount of volume right out of the gate. But, good job,
Boom.
killing it.
Oh, thanks.
I
Thanks.
love that you just didn't ask anybody about why you you had cover-ups for the patch. You're like, "Oh, these are
I know.
trash."
Big ass sticker. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I just threw it away. I didn't know. I remember one time I saw my friend Greg wearing one. I'm like, why are you wearing the big sticker? Like, just wear the little ones like the size of a postage stamp. And then they send you this massive, like the diameter of a coffee cup to put on top of it. I'm like, I am not even wearing that. Now I'm thinking I know why I probably should be wearing that. So you learned something. All right. We're on to Tuesday. Topic Tuesday. And this post comes from Adam, our third year med student. So, other than wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving, which was last week, he wanted to share an article that he found from News Medical Life Sciences that actually discussed some very interesting findings from two research projects that were presented by the American Heart Association in a meeting that was held last spring. So first, there's a lot of information here, so hang with me. First, there was a group of students from Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis that found that they found a way to use specialized, hmm, I don't know how to say the word, mesenchymal, I don't know. I'm trying to go on my medical knowledge and the way they pronounce words. I should have looked this up before we got started, but I was talking turkey. All right. There are these stromal cells, because I don't know how to pronounce the first word, you guys. And it's to fight the formation of aortic aneurysms. They found a way to use these specialized cells to fight the formation of aortic aneurysms. Like I had to read that twice. So that's like clearly interesting, right? The idea behind it is brilliant. And it's IL-10 is a chemical that's made by the body that helps fight off inflammation. It's the very same kind of inflammation that can damage our blood vessels, cause weakening that could actually lead to an aortic aneurysm and therefore dissections. However, when it's low, this chemical, IL-10, inflammation can then continue to go on and cause other problems. So they talk here that low IL levels will lead to impaired vascular relaxation. And I guess having your vascular system be relaxed is important because, as we know, when it has stenosis or it's tense, it's hardening. And sometimes it can become, certain areas can become maybe too relaxed. And then that allows the formation of an aneurysm. See how my imagination's working? I'm not a doctor. I'm kind of making this up as we read. I don't understand what any of this stuff means, so we're going to keep reading and hopefully we'll learn a lot together. All right. So these authors were able to take and use these specialized cells from healthy donors and implant them in 16 male patients with small abdominal aortic aneurysms, and they found that over time, the participants that received the cell treatment saw an increase in anti-inflammatory IL-10 and a decrease in pro-inflammatory chemical signalers. So sounds like a really good thing, right? Because they increased that IL-10, which is what you want to see. Even more remarkable was that the treatment seemed to help decrease the size of aneurysms in patients receiving higher doses of the cell, although further research is needed to see if these effects continued. Still, very, very exciting stuff for the future of aortic treatment if these cells are proven to help decrease the progression of aortic inflammation. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. I love cellular things and genetics and research. This is to me very, very fascinating and very promising. So in the same link that was mentioned above by Adam, there was another study from Stanford University School of Medicine. And what they talked about is they found that patients who were previously infected with COVID-19 had a near 10 times higher risk of aortic aneurysm growth. And I sit there with that because this is discussed all the time. And this is not about uh, politics or um, I can't think of the word. This isn't about theories, and this is about science. This line right here, they have found that people who were previously infected with that particular coronavirus, so we know that influenza A and B, they're all coronavirus, but this particular one that came out had a 10 times higher risk of aneurysm growth, aortic aneurysm growth. And other risk factors found in the study were having kidney disease and smoking. So take that into consideration too. Not saying it's 100% to be blamed on having COVID. However, the study was unable to determine whether the severity or treatment of COVID-19, as well as the virus, played a role in its impact on aneurysm size. So there's some variables in there as well. While further research is needed into what deeper role COVID-19 plays on the natural course of aortic disease, it's worth noting that previously other lung viruses, such as the flu, have been shown to negatively affect the aorta as well. And this is because of inflammation. So I feel like this is something we've been hearing about for quite some time, generally speaking. So obviously, in the winter months, just practice good health and hygiene. Wash your hands. If you feel like you need to wear a mask, if you think you're getting sick, help protect yourself and others. Get vaccinated if that's something you discuss with your physician. But the other stuff is common. Wash your hands. But just to interject, I feel like I've been hearing various underlying comorbidities, like people who have lupus or RA or ankylosing spondylitis or RA, rheumatoid arthritis, or ankylosing spondylitis, AS, or Crohn's disease. People who have underlying conditions where their inflammatory markers, like the CRP, is elevated. And I'm not talking 10, because it's usually supposed to be, I think, between 0 and 4 on a blood test. Again, not a physician, just having conversation. I feel like when those individuals who live with an inflammatory marker in the 30s, so 3 times as high as it would need to be, 4 times as high, what have you, um, that they are naturally at risk for having an aortic aneurysm, especially if there's something in their family, right? That hasn't even been identified, because why would it? You didn't know that you had this issue to begin with, because your heart is working so hard to rid the inflammation, and that's going to put strain on the vessels. Now, I'm not sure if this is how it works. It just seems like it would. To me, it just kind of makes sense. But I think it plays in when I hear things like the flu, which is increasing inflammation and then has the potential to more than regularly like increase the size of an aorta. And I know all these other things could too. Just has to make me think whether or not I get to know the answer to that. Why wouldn't I want to take measures to prevent my body from having those issues, right? I feel like if I can do something, I should do something, whatever I can. I like to be in control of what I can, but that's just me. Might not be everybody. But that was his post for the week. So interesting stuff, you know, to think about. I really love the idea of that first research study and the IL-10, and how people who had lower levels were finding that those aneurysms were at risk for growth. But when you gave them the cell, those aneurysms didn't grow. Like, pretty interesting stuff, right? Don't you think?
I do. I like that first study as well. That's to me. That's where that's showing us that new science is still coming in.
Yeah.
That new everything is still coming in. And I feel like,
Yeah.
machine learning getting added to these things, like I want to see more. I want to see more of that as well.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
when they were doing the COVID vaccine, like they definitely talked about machine learning and model recognition
Mm-hmm.
and just how much faster we can get to a place where we can make a new bold move in science.
Right.
Right. So to
And I
me, that's
think it
exciting.
it is. And just in 9 years, because I'll have my 9-year aortiversary in January. So many things have happened in 9 years. It's like I can't even keep track of it. New genetic mutations were identified. This research study. I mean, there's just been so much stuff, so many different surgical techniques that people are trying now, and 3D modeling and printing. And now we're going to get a chance to do that VR with Dr. Fisher and look into people's aortas, what I'm so excited about. So yeah, there's in just 9 years, there's so much stuff. So it's so promising when you think about that, because what's going to be happening in the next 9, right? So it's pretty amazing to me. I find it exciting.
Very.
All right, Topic Tuesday.